Okay, this next free reading is for a woman. I'm going to call her Roxie because she wanted me to keep her name anonymous. So she wrote me saying, "Hello, Queen. Happy New Year to you. I can't say mine started out the same way. First, I just want to thank you in advance for selecting my free reading for the month of March. Your feedback is greatly appreciated. Just to give you a little backstory, I have always had difficulty keeping a job for a very long time, nor get a job with a high salary. I'm 40 years old, and it is so frustrating experiencing being laid off and fired twice from two different jobs, which both bosses were dark sided Virgos. As stated in the title, I was fired on January 16th, which that job I was only there for 4 months. The job before that, I was there for almost 3 years, but left that job for more money only to get fired a few months later. My question to you is, why am I experiencing this? What is in my birth chart that pinpoints this unstable work history I have been experiencing? What do you recommend me pursuing career wise because I'm so exhausted not having a stable career and being underpaid? When will things get better? So, one of your main problems is that your midheaven, which is the house cusp of career, is at the 18th degree of Taurus. And that right there can result in situations where you are being underpaid, you're undervalued, and it could bring problems with your bosses. So you mentioned you had two dark-sided Virgo bosses. So that very much deals with that 18th degree of Taurus on the midheaven. Now your Venus is 6 degrees Cancer in the 11th house. It's ruling your midheaven, and it's squaring your Aries South Node. It's also squaring your Mars. I mean, it's also making a semi square with your Mars. So those aspects right there are contributing to your lack of job stability, security, and also issues with being underpaid. Now, you have your sun in Gemini in the 10th house, and that alone can produce short lived job opportunities. It can result in, you only working a few years and then you have a job change. So you really can't expect to be in a very long term employment situation with that Gemini in the 10th house. Just one second, let me pull up your chart again. Now, your sun again is in Gemini 10th house at the 5th degree, which reinforces that Gemini energy. But it's in good shape. It's actually in trine to your Libra North Node. Now, the underlying reason why you are having these problems stems from your Aries South Node. So, you have your Aries South Node in the 8th house, and that can deal with where people see you as expendable. And the ruler of your midheaven, again, that's the house cusp of career, it's squaring your Aries South Node, like I said before. So you can't allow yourself to be put in positions where you are viewed as expendable. You need to go out for those positions where you are a vital part of the company's operations. Now, your South Node's at the 2nd degree. So you really want to be careful when it comes to getting jobs where there's a female boss. So you really want to go after jobs where you're dealing with males, male bosses, male superiors, male supervisors, because then you won't really have to deal with, not all the time, but in general, male bosses, they don't get caught up in the whole, personality conflicts and emotional stuff and all that type of stuff. Having a Virgo boss can be very difficult. And you're a Gemini, so I'm not surprised that, you had two Virgo bosses that basically were giving you a hard time. You have Virgo on your second house cut, so that's showing that they really had control over your money situation by you taking those jobs. Now, with that North Node in Libra in the second house, it's important that you strategize when it comes to your earning potential. Also, don't be afraid to negotiate your salary. You need to be very deliberate when it comes to looking for a job, and you need to determine if these employers are worthy of your labor not the way other way around. A lot of times as employees, people will be, in this position of submission during the interview process, where it's like, okay, I have to take what's being offered or thrown at me. I have to basically kowtow and, make it seem like I really am fit for this job. But a lot of times people forget that employment, it's a two-way street. It shouldn't be where the employer has all the power. So you really need to assess your worth, assess what you really feel like you deserve in terms of pay, and not depart from that. You need to really negotiate your salary. And you know how some job descriptions will say salary negotiator or whatever like that. Um, Definitely take that seriously if you're looking for a job and you see that. Don't take the first offer, or don't take the first pay that's being offered. And if they don't want to play ball with you, then that's not the right job for you. And again, your best bet is to get with uh or get a job where the boss is a male, because the North Node's in Libra, which deals with the opposite sex. So dealing with bosses that are female and you're female, a lot of times it's just not going to work out. But again, I can't stress this enough, because you got Gemini in the 10th house. A lot of times your jobs will be short lived. You really can't expect longevity. So as long as you're making good money, if a job only lasts 3 years, so be it. Then you move on to something even better. But with each new job, you should be getting more money and you should be feeling more fulfilled. Also, with that Sun and Gemini in the 10th house, you might want to consider just having two part-time jobs if you can swing that. And because that Gemini in the 10th is really good for like part-time work, or where you have two different jobs. And also, it will help just to have two sources of income anyway. So you said, let me see, what else did you say? You said, what do you recommend me pursuing career-wise, because I'm so exhausted not having a stable career and being underpaid. So with that Gemini in the 10th house, you would be really good for a job that requires you to teach, a job that requires you to report information. But again, you need to be part of the you need to be a vital part of the operations of the company, so that these employers or your bosses will think twice before firing you. You have Venus in Cancer, it's ruling the midheaven. So you definitely are designed for jobs that deal with the more softer side of life. And that Venus in Cancer is good for hospitality positions, working in the restaurant industry, and also working in careers where your main customer base is women. Now, when it comes to the right career path, I strongly believe that you have to really look what's in your heart. Look to your heart to see where you really would like to be. But one thing I can tell you, with your Mars conjoining Saturn in the 12th house, you would do better working in isolation, or where you're like just the sole person working on your duties, as opposed to working in a team. And you really need to be in a leadership position. So again, it needs to be a situation where your role is so vital to the operations of the company that they're going to think twice before letting you go. So before I let you go, I'm going to just do a reading to see with the cards, to see when things will get better for you. So I'm going to look at I'm going to look between now and the end of 2020 to see if things are going to get better for you job wise. Oh, your life path number is 12. That breaks down to 3. That 12 can be rather challenging. The key words for 12 are sacrifice and victimization. So you always got to make sure that you're not placing yourself in a position where you can be sacrificed, or where you are a victim. So will things get better for you by the end of 2020? I'm going to say by the end of 2020, you're definitely going to be more in control of your destiny, but things may not be totally better for you. So let me see by the end of 2021? Will things get better for you by the end of 2021? But again, I can't say this enough. You really got to strategize when it comes to your earning potential. You just can't take the first thing that's thrown at you. So before, like if you're working right now, before you leave this current job, you need to strategize and make sure that the next job you're going to, oh yeah, by the end of 2021, things will improve tremendously. So you have something to look forward to. So take the rest of this year and going into 2020, I would acquire some new skills, maybe go back to school, get some credits under your belt, get some um, additional education. You might want to enter into a training program to get a certification or whatever. And that way you'll be in a better position to negotiate your salary. So if you have any questions, you can send me an email or you can post a comment in the comment section. And if anybody would like a chance for a free reading over the next couple of months, send me an email with free reading on the subject line. Include your birth information, date, location, and time. If you want me to keep your name anonymous, please make sure you state that. And that's definitely important because I had to delete a free reading I did a few days ago because the person told me I could use their name, and then when I posted their free reading, they sent me an email saying, "Can I bleep out their name because now they don't want their name out there." So if you don't want your name out there, please just specify that you want to be kept anonymous. Because I ended up doing that free read. It was almost like a waste of time because I couldn't even post it. But the good thing is she appreciates the free reading and all that. But just be sure going into this that, if you're going to use your name, you have to be comfortable with the fact that the readings that I give are very straightforward to the point, and some of the stuff that you hear, you may not want your information out there or whatever. So again, think long and hard about that before you agree to use your name. But after this recent situation, I'm thinking about just making up names for everybody. But I don't know, we'll see. But if you would like an in-depth reading now, you could go to my website at rabina.com. Peace and many blessings.